Good afternoon, Ms. Tessa Tiope. Good afternoon, classmates. My name is Kato Bedencio and I am from the Group 4. Together with my group mates Richelle Abian, Vanessa Abrenica, Giselle Cranso, Jiki Rose Gonson, Rhea Olaer, and numerous Tahuinon, we are tasked to report the definitions, characteristics, and teaching approaches for children with deaf and blindness and visual impairment.
Good afternoon once again. Deaf and blindness is a combination of sight and hearing loss, a condition in which an individual has a combined hearing and vision loss, thus limiting access to both auditory and visual information, sometimes called dual sensory loss or a multisensory impairment. And also, deaf blindness comes a huge spectrum ranging from struggling to see and hear and not able to see or hear from anything at all.
On the other hand, visual impairment are children or people who cannot see at all or who has partial vision loss or legal blindness. The inability or limited ability to receive information visually. They suffer unique communication problems and have special needs arising from the difficulty to know and perceive globally and therefore to be interested and engage with their environment.
So now, we will tackle about the different characteristics of deaf and blindness. First characteristic is usually used hearing aid, carries a cane, and has a guide dog. As you can see in our infographic, there's a yellow ear that have a small electronic device that can help people with deaf and blindness to hear a sound. Also, people with deaf and blindness carry a cane or dog to help them to guide in familiar surroundings. The second characteristic will be the squint or hold the object close. Squint may be more noticeable when a person focuses on the object to see things clearly in the close-up. Next will be exhibit unintelligible or no speech, means exhibit unusual facial and body movements. Then, possible speech and or language delay. And the last characteristic is have very slow response. These are the characteristics of deaf and blindness.
Characteristic of visual impairment: unable to see object at a distance. So if a person has a visual impairment, they have to wear glasses in order to see the object. Tend to rely on tactile senses. So when we are going to talk tactile senses, it refers to a type of sensations related to the sense of touch. If a person has a deaf and blindness and visual impairment, they have a poor focus or troubled following objects.
Teaching approaches. Teaching individuals who are deaf-blind is a big and unique challenge. However, teachers continue to teach and look for ways for them to learn like normal people. For individuals who are deaf-blind, they need meaningful communication that often needs touch, which means they need touch in order for them to show that their partner shares their focus of attention. Then, exploring objects should be done in a non-directive way. This means that teachers will allow individuals who are deaf-blind to have control in everything they do. Teachers are there to assess them, not directly tell them what to do, because they may have slow response time, so the teacher should give enough time for them to respond and explore things. Symbolic communication, which has a great help for individuals who are deaf-blind, where the principal communication systems includes first, touch cues. Touch cues helps individuals who are deaf-blind compensate for the auditory and visual aids they cannot access. Sign language. Sign language in the deaf-blind person include tactile signing method, where deafblind child places their hands over those who are signed to follow what being communicated through touch and movement. Next is picture symbols. Braille, large print, object symbols and gestures are very understandable. And next is finger spelling. So finger spelling has a big role in lives of individuals who are deaf-blind because finger spelling is the representation of the letters of the writing systems and sometimes numeral systems using only the hands. For example, the alphabet like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. So those are the finger spelling of the alphabet. For you to know, the difference of finger spelling and sign language are: first, finger spelling is the process of spelling out words by using hand shapes that correspond to the letters of the word, while sign language are language that use in a visual manual modality to convey meaning and sometimes expressed through manual articulation in combination with non-manual elements. Just like Helen Keller uses finger spelling due to her blindness, the other person will have to do the signs like this video. So next is lip reading speech. Is a child watches the movement of the speaker's mouth and face and understand what the speaker is saying. However, lip reading speech is only applicable to individuals who are deaf, not for blind person. So that's why Tadoma method exists. As you can see on our infographics, you can see the hand of Helen Keller and the face of her teacher, where her teacher tried to speak and then Helen Keller tried to touch the throat to read the vibration and in order for her to utter the words. Tadoma method is a communication method in which the deaf-blind person places their thumb on the speaker's lips and their fingers, speaker cheeks, with a little finger pick up the vibration of the speaker's throat. So just like Helen Keller, because of the Tadoma method, she was able to utter words and speak.
Teaching approaches is a theoretical view of what language is and of how it can be learned. An approach gives rise to methods, the way of teaching something which use classroom activities or techniques to help learners learn. There are 5 teaching approaches of visual impairment. Number 1 is encourage learners to use visual aid or sources that have prescribed glasses, magnifiers, big prints, book, so that those students who had visual impairment can identify an object through the given visual aid or resources. Number 2, color code. It means that you have to be specific, choosing color that the student who had low vision, they can easily identify of what you show to them. For example, you choose the light color in which they have the ability to reflect light. The number 3, describe in detail pertinent visual occurrences of the learning activities. You should provide visual example to them so that they can easily understand the activities. For example, pictures, video clips, and other more. 4 is use audio, digital, or braille formats. Audio and digital normally used to identify some letters and objects, and then showing braille formats, for example, braille alphabet, in which each letter have a corresponding dot to identify what letter is that. The last is, it is very common, call the student with a visual impairment by name if you want his or her attention. So, that should be all. Thank you and good afternoon.